speak today with a heavy heart. Not because sinampal ako na ibibigay sa ibang committee ang aking inimbestiga. Hindi po ako natatakot doon. I speak from the standpoint of a senator who ran because the Senate is a place of dignity, of honor, of trust. It is the people's forum. Kung di po makatakbo ang tao sa korte dahil napakahirap kailangang abogado, ang tatakbuhan po niyan ay tayo mga senador, ang ating mga congressman. Tayo po ay maraming oras na ginugugol at lahat tayo pinipilit natin magtrabaho ng maayos para ang katotohanan at ang pagbabago ng bagong batas ay makakalap natin at maisasagawa. Recently, Mr. President, I have consulted, with all due respect to you and to the majority of Lord Leader concerning mga reports ng committee na dapat harapin natin. I have submitted my committee report on justice a few months ago. And I'm shocked na pati yung report ni Senator Grace po sa Mama Sapano, hanggang sa ngayon, ay hindi pa natin na-approve. Kung hindi natin na-aprobahan yan, sayang ang oras. Maraming beses tayong inaakusa at tayo ay imbestiga ng imbestiga, wala naman nangyayari. On my honor, I have investigated many matters here and I have filed bills here in the Senate. In my first task as senator of this country, in my first term, when I finish a report, my staff, during the investigation, before, during, and after, spend long hours researching, poring over statements, poring over affidavits, and analyzing all the things na makikita natin na pwedeng tanungin. Some of my staff are very young people. Some of them are under bar. And yet I make tremendous demands, as I've always done so. I like surrounding myself with young people. Because young people, to my mind, dapat hubugin natin kagad para sila ay magkakaroon ng spine o ng pananindigan sa mga darating na paghamon ng ating bansa na napakaraming challenges, napakaraming hamon. It's a country that is afloat. Maraming salita. Noong araw, nung ako'y bata, nandito ako sa Constitutional Convention. Bago yon, nagsalita si Father Ortiz. Kami nasa UP Student Council. Ano sabi nila? This country is sitting in a social volcano. Hanggang ngayon, yan ang sinasabi. We've seen many, many things happen in this country. Parties change. People cross party lines. Kung sino nakaupo, doon papasok. And slowly, I suppose, through the years, hindi lang ng panahon ng modern Philippines, but siguro ng panahon ng Kastila, napilitan tayong basagin ang ating pader na nilagay ng mga Kastila noong araw. Kaya, nahihirapan tayong manindigan. Kung sino nakaupo, doon tayo. At nakakalimutan niya yung prinsipyo. At kung magkamisan ang mga hamon sa aking sarili ng mga nakaraan, pagbigyan ko na ba, hayaan ko na lang, o huwag na ako, tumahimik na lang ko, ibigay ko na lang yung Subic, o ibigay ko na lang yung mayor ng Olongapo, na wala ng batas-batas, at hinahabol ko hanggang batas. Payagan ko na lang, hindi pinapairal yung automated election law, and alam nyo, hinahabol ko yan hanggang sa Korte Suprema. 2 beses. Para mailagay lamang yung tamang pamaraan sa eleksyon na ating ginawa dito sa Senado. Recently, lumabas ang isang tao na dati ng testigo. Hindi ko po siya inimbita rito doon sa investigasyon ng EJK. Ang nag-imbita po dyan ay isang senadora natin. Tinuloy ko lahat. I will remind the Senate, nung nagpalit tayo, nakakashock yun. Papalitan mo isang committee chairman dahil mukhang naligawan landas. Dahil nagbabakbakan sila ng Pangulo. At the Senate changed her. Hindi easy thing to do yun. Kaya sabi ko, papayag ako, hawakan ko yan, para ilagay natin yan, Senador, sa committee. And we did. At nung hinawakan ko yan, wala nang agawa ng mikropono. Pinilit ko ang dignidad ng Senado ay maayos. Hinayaan ko magtanong ang mga senador. Sabi ng isa, ako raw ay mahaba magsalita. Talaga po mahaba ako magsalita, pero may laman naman ho siguro. At sinasabi ko po, you have 10 minutes, kung maayos ang gagawin nyo, hanggang gusto nyo, basta nasa lugar. Hindi po ako magtitake na sides. Noong marapit ang taong ito, kasama nung Matobato, tinatanong ko kung totoo yung sinasabi nila. Anong nangyari ngayon? Binago na ang salita. Bigla na lang nagkaroon ng konsyensya di umano. May istorya na kumakalat na nung inopera raw, nakita niya ang Panginoon. At nagbago na siya ng salita. I couldn't care less if he pointed the president, but he should have done that at the first hearing. That was his chance. When he failed to do that, he lied. He lied to the Senate. Pag inimbitahan kayo sa Senado, ang bao mo ay katotohanan. You are required to speak the truth. That is why the first thing we do is ask them to raise their hand and say, do you swear to tell the truth? Hindi tumigil doon. The whole truth. Hindi ka piraso, buong katotohanan. And nothing but the truth in the said proceeding. And the answer was yes. 4 months later, magbabago ka after insulting the Senate, after we did a lot of work to craft the legislation that was necessary, and say you're changing your mind, you're bothered by conscience. Maybe so. So far as I'm concerned, and I'm just speaking for myself, Mr. President, I do not claim there are 24 individuals here. And I respect everybody. I may not agree with them. Sometimes they may be disagreeable, but I respect them. But the point is, Mr. President, you come here and you lie, you only get one chance. You do not get a second chance. There are options, Mr. President. You can go to the Ombudsman. File your complaint there. The Ombudsman is not exempted from investigating anybody in this country. And if the decision is for impeachment, you still go to the lower house. Pero dito, I said, ang sampal ay hindi kay Dick Gordon. Ang sampal ay sa Senado. Nagsinungaling ka. At kung nagsinungaling ka sa Senado, hindi ka na kita papakinggan. Pag pinakinggan kita, yung kasabihan sa wikang English, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I believe that. There's no second chance. Walang baril na nakatutok sa ulo ni Las Cañas nung siya yung marap dito. Walang nagsabi na siya ay binayaran. Today, binayaran siya. Now, supposing he had told the truth, right there, the result would have been different. We might have considered that there was a double death squad. We would have pursued the investigation further. Because now, there was somebody na sinasabi na siya ang leader ng death squad, na sinabi niya at that time. Hindi niya sinabi. He even controverted the testimony of Matobato. He said, media hype. He said all kinds of things. Hindi totoo yan. Sinabi niya si Matobato ay kasosyo niya sa negosyo, nagpartihan sila ng 800,000. Marami pa siyang sinabi, Mr. President. Tinignan ko yung video nung humarap siya. Ba totoo, lalaki humaharap. Hindi yung isang tao natatakot. Walang kaba. After all, matagal lang pulis yan. At nung siya'y nagpulis, Mr. President, to wear that uniform, kailangan sumumpa ka. Sumumpa ka to protect and serve our people. Tapos ngayon, sasabihin niya, pagkatapos wasakin ang integridad niya at pati Senado, magkakaroon ng duda na tayo ay partisan? I cannot decide, Mr. President, on my own. Nasa television tayo 24 all the time, 14 hours, 9 hours. Nakikita ng tao kung totoo sinasabi na nagsisinungaling. So the people are also forming their own conclusions on the matter. And so when he lies, Mr. President, and we go to the decision, you cannot accuse us of partisanship. Because I have never been partisan insofar as what is right and what must be done. I've been tested in the Constitutional Convention. I voted to ban Mr. Marcos. I was told, don't vote for that. 3 times. I told Mr. Manglapos, pag bumalik ako dyan, tinatawag ko ng Pangulo, pag bumalik ako dyan, at nagbago ako, nabili ako. I was the Senator Manglapos at the time. Pero in this particular instance, Mr. President, this is the Senate. This is not our own personal gratification or convenience na matatakot tayo, baka magalit ang tao na hinahanap ang katotohanan ng isang tao na nagsabi ng kasinungalingan, pagbigyan na natin. Di ba yan ang sinasabi sa ating bansa? We are a forgiving country. Ang dali natin makalimot. Yan ang sinasabi sa atin. Oh, kung gano'n, kalimutan na natin, ulitin natin. Paano ngayon? Hindi ba ang unang tanong dyan ang lahat siguro? Nagsasabi ka na ba ng totoo ngayon o hindi? That is why I say, ilipat natin siya. Life has become cheap in this country, Mr. President. Words are cheap. This man, who now claims he's telling the truth, do you want to believe this man? He now says, I was hired. Well, let's put it this way. Nung pumasok siya sa pulis, hired ka, may sweldo ka. Nag-uniforme ka, you take a note to protect and deserve. Now he says, I was hired to say this. Yung sinabi niya, ang unang papaniwalaan niyan, Mr. President, is he hired? Is he paid? He says, I was hired to murder. Para pumatay. June Pala was assassinated 14 years ago. September 2003. 14 years later, ang tagal naman ng konsyensya mo. Tapos sasabihin niya, naiiyak ako, pinatay ko yung 2 kapatid ko. Aba, si Cain, isa lang ang pinatay. Ito, 2. Papaniwalaan natin yan? Papaniwalaan niya yung binayaran? Kanya, binayaran siya para magsabi yan? Paano natin mawala hindi siya binayaran? Ang tawag ko dyan, jukebox. Kung ano yung hulog, yun nasasabihin. You must appreciate the fact that I'm a very passionate individual. But I also have my duty, if only my own individual duty. I don't impose it upon my fellow senators in all my respect. And I would like to see a Senate that is protected, a Senate whose integrity is not solid, a Senate that is not put into shame by this man who claims now he's telling the truth. Mr. President, ano ba ang tawag natin dyan? Araw-araw, don't you think ako hindi nababagabag ang konsenso ko? 7,000 tao na ang namamatay? Nasaan ba yung mga abogado natin? Bakit hindi puntahan isa-isa yung mga pinapatay na yan at sabihin sa kanila, oy, nagising na kami sa katalugan namin. Sino pumatay sa'yo? Lalabanan namin yan. Nabini, Flag, everybody, IBP. Wala. It's called apathy. It's called waiting for the right time. And that is the danger of waiting for the right time. It is never the truth when you wait for the right time because you are inconsistent. Your principles are based on time, not based on the value, not based on the character, on the how you were raised by your parents and by your community. But Mr. President, my own father was killed. Benigno Aquino was killed. Many others have been killed. Mama Sapano, my gosh. It really bothers me to this day. Na hanggang ngayon, in fact, I'm being asked by the Mama Sapano policemen and their families to come over. nahihirapan ako na kung papayagan ko ito at hindi ako magsasalita. Palagi ko, mahirapan ako matulog, mahirapan akong harapin kayong lahat dito pagpapasok ko. Palagi ko, mawawalan ako ng gana talaga na pumasok pa. Because parang nawala yung essence ng Senado. Senatus Populusque Romanus. Senate and the people of Rome. That is where we come from, Mr. President. All the senates of the world started from there. But of course, the Senate of the people of Rome were the patricians. The plebeians were not there. Yung masa, wala dyan. I'm beginning to think like we're like Rome. Are we patricians? Hindi natin hahanapin yung dapat natin hanapin? Ngayon, Mr. President, sasabihin natin, politika yan, partisan yan, kalaban yan, kakampiyan, ganito. Magko-caucus pa tayo. Forgive me for saying this. Kahapon pa ako, nahanda mag-privilege speech. Sabi ni Senator Soto, mag-caucus. Pumayag ako. Pagdating doon, we were all calm. Ayaw natin magsigawan, ayaw natin mag-ayos. That was the purpose of the caucus. Bigla tayo nagbotohan. Pero hindi pa tayo nakakalabas ng gabi. Nagtatawagan na ako. At sinasabi, ito ang mga bumoto laban. Paano nalalaman yan? Sabi ko, narinig ko dun sa lobby, sabi, huwag tayo magbotohan sa labas. At kaya tayo. You heard that? I heard that. I heard Senator Villar say, gagawa-gawa kayo ng gulo, tapos kami maiipit Mapipilitan kami bumoto I heard Senator Villar say that. I even heard a lot of other things. So, Mr. President, ito ang Senado, yung integridad natin comes first. And tama lang yun. Hindi ko sinabi mali yung sinasabi yan. We have to have caucuses para we can collect our thoughts. We can agree to disagree. Pero, kung ganyan naman ang mangyayari, tatalikuran natin yung salitang oath. I'm sure marami sa inyo nag-Boy Scout. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country. Kung nakalimutan niya, and to obey the Scout law. To help other people at all times to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. I address it to all the Boy Scouts, and the Girl Scouts, and the young people. Follow the law. Follow the truth. Now, Mr. President, every president takes his oath. Every senator takes his oath. Every congressman, every mayor, councilor, police, barangay captain, they take their oath. If we do not take that oath seriously, ano klase tayong tao? That's why I keep my oath in my box. Kapag mawalan ako ng argument, sometimes hihilahin ko yan, sabihin ko, we took an oath. Ayan ang mga oaths natin, We keep our oaths in our rooms. It's for decoration. We have no culture of oath-taking in this country. It's like we pray every day. We pray for guidance. We pray for justice. Mr. President, kayo na sumagot. Tayo na sumagot. I'm not trying to be holier than thou. A Filipino soldier takes his oath. He will not be cowardly. He will serve the country. A policeman will take his oath to protect and to serve. We all take our oaths. That is the history of oaths. That is why when somebody takes an oath here and violates it, Republic Act under the Revised Penal Code, Article 183, punishes somebody who lies under oath. Ayan, false testimony in other cases. Mababa pa nga ang penalty. Dapat siguro taasan na yan Arresto mayor lang yan. Now, Mr. President, ilan yan? 1 month and 1 day to 6 months. That's why siguro hindi masyadong pinapatulan yan. Okay lang. Huwag na tayo mag-oath. Okay lang. We can forget our oath. We forget it. Tomorrow, they'll forget it. Now, Mr. President, if that's the way we want to raise our children, our country, then we'll say oath becomes cheap. So, Mr. President, when Arthur Las Cañas became a policeman, he took an oath. When he says when he answered upon the question of the senator that brought her, ikaw bang head ng DDS? And he said, no. Dapat nagalit si Senator Lima. Nagsinungaling sa kanya yung kanyang testigo But when he says, the DDS is just media hype, that the DDS does not exist. He had nothing to do with the mosque bombing October 3, 2016. My goodness, Mr. President. Now he says he bombed them. And you want to believe this man? This man who lies frequently, who claims he's paid to murder, he is paid now to talk? Can I ask that question? No, I will not ask that question. I'm sure I will say, you are now paid. That's why you're here. And I don't think you can blame me if I said that. Ako lang ho yun, wag na iba. He was a person that come and lied again. He lied to his family. He lied to his fellow policemen. He lied to his community. He lied to this country. And we want to honor him now, bringing him back here. Let's take it to its logical extreme, Mr. President. He now says, I'm telling the truth. Eto ang nagpapatay dyan. Ano gagawin natin ngayon? Dalhin natin sa ombudsman? Dalhin natin sa... I'm sure the first question is, are you telling the truth now? Let's take it to its logical extreme. Hindi ba dadalhin sa impeachment yan? At pagdating sa impeachment yan, ano mangyayari? Aabot ba yan? We're giving our country false hopes. That is why I was so careful. My statement in the recommendation I made, we find no evidence in this hearing that this is sponsored by the state. You can mock me, you can do everything you want, but that is the truth. There was no evidence presented that showed this. Now, if this man said, eto, meron, then meron tayong pag-uusapan. Eh, hindi niya ginawa eh. Hindi niya ginawa. So, Mr. President, I'm not here to convince you. I'm not here to say, oh, huwag na tayo tawagin yan. Nasa sa inyo na yan, kanya-kanya na yan. But I personally would like to take this off my chest. My wife told me, huwag na dik, kaya mo na. My wife was having a high blood episode yesterday. That's why I had to go out. I was really... And when I came over, huwag na, sabi niya, huwag na natin patuloy niya, dik. Let us pick our battles. Pick our battles, Mr. President. What battle is that? Hindi ba it's a battle against ourselves? Hindi ba it's a battle that when you're called to stand up, you have to say so? You have to stand up and speak for the truth even if you're going to hurt your party, even if you're going to hurt your friends. You stand up and say, I cannot agree with you. Now, Mr. President, that is me. I am not going to impose it upon anybody. But to take time. Tarry a little before we proceed. The next time we invite somebody here, let us make sure we read his oath 20 times. Let him promise 20 times. Because nobody's going to respect us here. Ay, Senado, madali magsinungaling yan, papatawarin ka. Magpe-press conference pa doon sa Senado mismo. Ano mangyayari sa investigasyon natin? Ano mangyayari sa mga tao na pumupunta rito para humarap ng katarungan? Which sometimes we ourselves cannot even do. You know, Mr. President, I wanted to deliver a speech the other day. A UP student, a UP businessman, o sabihin ko, a fraternity brother was killed in Batangas, murdered in Santo Tomas, Batangas. I wanted to speak, pero ang dami. So what am I gonna do? Andun ho yun sa recommendation namin doon sa Committee on Justice. Anytime there's a murder, you count it, and every month, how many people have been killed in Batangas? And it is reported to the Committee on Justice and Peace and Order, Public Order, and we call Bato or General De La Rosa, and we call the Provincial Director of Batangas and say, 200 deaths in your area, and you're not doing anything about it. Perhaps it's time to change the PNP. Perhaps it's time to change the budget. That is in the recommendation. Every province, para matigil unti-unti, you cannot slay extrajudicial killing. I was still in the previous Senate when I spoke to a senator from Vermont who accosted a senator when I was lobbying for the veterans bill that we got eventually. And he was saying, we cannot give you any money, there's extrajudicial killing. That was how many years ago, Mr. President? More than 10 years ago. Now, Mr. President, you slay it by saying, ay, iyas, hindi ka na pwedeng umiwas. You have 15 days to finish that report. And you report it to us right away. And I'm saying, hindi na pwedeng kabaro ang mag-iimbestiga ng pulis. ang pulis ang mag-iimbestiga, ang husgado. Dapat mabilis. Mr. President, unbeknownst to you, for the last 3 weeks, I've been sitting down with plebs, trying to figure a way how we can spend that 100 million so that we could have plebs all over the country, in the Metro Manila area, para the people can go to plebs and say, sinaktan ako ng pulis yan, pinatay ako ng pulis yan, and plebs, motu proprio, within 60 days, can say, you're out of the police. You're suspended. And while you're suspended, you cannot, when you appeal, you have no gun, you have no shield. That's the solution, Mr. President. Hindi yung magsisisihan tayo na kumakampi tayo, na partisan tayo rito. You cannot solve that. My father's case has not been terminated. The masterminds remain free. And so does thousands, maybe tens of thousands of others. And now this. A police officer comes in. Hindi ako sinampal, Mr. President. Ang sinampal tayo. If you don't feel that, maybe I'm right. Maybe I will have a hard time trying to get back into the Senate. So, Mr. President, it means a little bit of nobility. We disagree with one another here. You know, we always try, let us be noble at least. Let us try to treat each other with respect and candor so we can find out the truth. Not our anger, but the truth. So, Mr. President, on that note, I have said my piece, and you may judge me. If you want to question me, you may do so. But as far as I'm concerned, I'd like to apologize to my wife, because I'm sure she will be very, very stressed. But I cannot do that. She's not feeling very well. And I said, I'm sorry. I have to follow my conscience and my heart. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Gordon. Majority Leader.